Charles is a licensed mental health counselor with a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in education. His inimitable Tai Chi Do movement meditation was delivered to him by spirit when he was young. Um, he lives locally but leads Sacred Sanctuary and Tai Chi Do movement meditation on his websites and to groups throughout Tampa Bay. Charles' students call him sensei, Japanese teacher. The inspiration, as I said, came to him when he was leading a meditation group back in the early 70s. Yes, he was teaching meditation in the 70s, but Charles wasn't a hippie. In fact, he never really has fit into any category. He was raised as a Catholic altar boy, took Buddhist vows, married a Jewish Unitarian, and he and his lovely wife named their daughter Hindu prayer. He studied martial arts, but developed Tai Chi Do as a non-martial art. He hangs with suits, but he dresses in a gi. Um, his life work has been helping people to restore their feeling of connection to source, to self, and to others. He regularly leads meditations from his sacred sanctuary, currently online through Facebook. His Tai Chi Do movement meditation technique is his unique gift to the world, and he has taught numerous protege throughout the United States. Here's what someone who knows him well wrote about him. The first thing you'll notice when you meet Charles Robinson is a generous peacefulness. We say generous because peace emanates from him and feels like a validation of everyone around him. It feels like falling in love with yourself. Charles helps you feel powerful again, rather than letting your environment or your circumstances or other people or even physical pain take that away from you. Charles, I am going to stop sharing and give it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me be a part of the community today. And for me, it's community is really important. I think that especially during this time that we're living in right now, the loss of community, the loss of unity and community has been a major issue for us. I think because we've moved into a consciousness that is in survival. And this survival nature, I think, has caused a lot of disinformation, misinformation. It's really broken down the communication dynamic between groups, individuals, organizations. But I think it's also a very special time. The very special time is that it allows us to reassess what our values are and what our needs are. The work that I do is basically to listen. I'm a listener, and listening means that it's not me, that in terms of letting go of the me or the I, but really just getting into a place where I'm communing with my own inner voice or inner teacher. I call it the teacher. The teacher is the aspect of us that is constantly providing us with wisdom in each moment. One of I would say the biggest things for me has been to let go of the I and the me and just drop into this expanded state of awareness. So every moment is different. Every moment is a perfect opportunity to explore new opportunities or possibilities. I do a lot of work with people who are recovering from addiction and mental health issues, and the work that I see most beneficial is when people are able to let go of what they think they know, or let go of knowledge and really allow themselves to drop into wisdom. I use an analogy that I use that I've been using lately that has been really beneficial, has been, I call it the chariot. The chariot is a symbol of the dynamic that we're in as humans. It's actually a dynamic that represents the human struggle or the human condition. And this is an example of the chariot. I'm going to do a screen share with everyone. Okay, so this is the chariot. The horses represent the emotions. So, and you can see that the emotions are blind. They have blinders on. The coachman is the ego. The whip is the whip of desire. So you can see that the ego is whipping those emotions or whipping those horses, and they're pretty much strapped in, and they're like tied into the commands of the ego. So whatever it is that you're thinking, wherever it is that you put your attention, whatever it is that you focus on, becomes a part of your experience, whether it's in harmony with your higher being or it's out of harmony with your higher being. So whatever we focus on actually manifests within us, and we start to experience it as what we quantify as being reality. So this is the royal carriage. Inside the carriage is the Holy Spirit, or the authentic self, and sitting next to the Holy Spirit or the authentic self is God or Source. Now you can see that the issue here in this particular dynamic is that the ego is, or that part of us that says, I'm in control. I'm in charge of all of this. I have control of everything. I know exactly what to do, which we could really, in essence, label as knowledge. And knowledge is really based on conclusions that we've come up with based on what we've experienced in quote unquote the past. But so the problem with knowledge is that whatever it is that we think we know is already changed already. That knowledge is finite, where inside the carriage, wisdom is infinite. So the work here, in part, that we have as being a part of this life, part of this experience, is to be able to, I call it, get down off your high horse and really ask to enter inside the carriage. In Christian beliefs, it would be considered the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So like all three of those dynamics come together, but it requires that the ego lets go of control and stops trying to control the outcome. I think in Hindu and a lot of the Eastern philosophies and teachings, say that basically, I think this was from the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads and, some of the books of Bregu and so on and so forth, that they all kind of come to the same conclusion in these ancient texts, is that man has a couple of problems. And one problem is attachment to the outcome. The other problem is being overly identified with the actor, where we label ourselves as being old or young or rich or poor or black or white or, fortunate or unfortunate. However we describe ourselves, in truth, is a trap, because it prevents us from being able to experience the beauty and the sanctity that's inherent in each moment. It prevents us from truly experiencing reality. So, and then the other big one is attachment to the outcome, where we're trying to control the outcome, and you can see how that creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of illness, because in truth, we can't, control the what will be. Or we can, in essence, change the what was. So the place or the path of least resistance is in the here and now, and that's inside the carriage. Once the ego is willing to let go of what it thinks it knows. So I would say that the very first step in liberation is letting go of what you think you know. Once you let go of what you think you know, then there is the opportunity to have access to all kinds of possibilities. Um, I believe that this process of recovery, which I do a lot of work with people in recovery, where they use the word recovery, but I'm not quite sure that people are really aware of what they're recovering. They're saying, I'm in recovery. I said, well, what are you recovering? Um, so in essence, it's the recovering of connection to the authentic self in relationship to God or source. And once we recover that connection, in that process of recovery, we're able to find, the pathway to peace or the pathway to love, unconditional love. Um, but it does require, which is really frightening, I think, for the ego, to surrender at that level, to let go of control at that level. So when you look at this analogy, the other thing that I find interesting about this picture, and I feel that it's all like everything comes, through inspiration. So this picture kind of popped up on Pixabay. It's a free site that allows you to use beautiful creations by people to represent your work, and we basically people are donating their work. This particular image that was created, I thought was so perfect as I looked deeper into it, because when you look, there's nothing here. There's in the outer world, so to speak, there is nothing. There's emptiness. And I think that that's what causes a lot of suffering, is that we're looking for salvation, or we're looking for happiness, we're looking for joy in this outer world. And I think as a result of that, people end up going through a lot of disappointment, a lot of emotional pain. We see in mental health a lot of various dimensions of mental unrest or mental discord, that comes as a result of trying to find things in the outer world to truly be satisfied. So, so in Kaichi-Do, one of our teachings is that you have to go deep before you go wide. In other words, you have to go inward versus going outward. Most of us go wide. In other words, we're trying to find stuff in this outer world that's in essence just a reflection of our interpretations. So in Kaichi-Do, we practice going inward, making that inner connection. From that inner connection, then going back out into the world. So we're going in, and then we're going out. Most of us go out versus going in first. So I call this holding center as the world goes round. So it's coming into connection or coming into harmony with ourselves. The world is spinning around us. The world is spinning around us. Now, if we're patient, then the world will join us in the right way at the right time. So what gets in the way again is the ego. The ego saying, well, I got this. I'm in control. You don't have to tell me what to do, or you're not telling me what to do. You can see the ego, it becomes very indignant and, has an attitude, and, you can hear it in your voice sometimes where you're like, ain't no one telling me what to do. It's like the ego you can hear all the pushback, all the rationalization, all the projections, all the, the use of what we call the defense mechanisms that really prevents us from letting go of those reins or letting go of the control. So it's one of the biggest things for all of us is restlessness. A lot of us become extremely restless. The reason that we're so restless is because we're trying to control the what will be. And we're not able to, in our minds, we believe that we're not able to just relax into the present moment and find out what it is that we really need, to become aware of our needs. So this analogy I found to be a really great analogy, and being able to better understand the predicament that we all find ourselves in right now in terms of what produces anxiety, what produces stress, stress reaction formations, and things that come about as a result of being in this particular dilemma. I also believe that one of the biggest things is the existential question, like, who am I, is at the foundation or the root of a lot of our suffering, and that we can't find it, so to speak, in the outer world. That we begin the journey when we go inward and begin to make that journey, towards the truth or the essence of who we are. I believe that recovery of the self, recovery is discovery. So recovery is discovery. So as we're recovering, we're actually in each moment discovering new possibilities, new opportunities. So this is the thing I love about life, is that each moment is an opportunity for discovery. People ask me, well, what do you know? I mean, what do you know about this stuff? And, I really don't know anything. And I love living life not knowing anything. Then I can actually be available or be in service in each moment, in terms of truly being a listener. Because as soon as we think we know something, we've lost the ability to take action from a place of inspiration. As soon as we think we know something, we usually are taking action out of desperation. The inspired action comes from letting go of control, letting go of the reins, that the ego is holding on those emotions, getting into a place of coming into balance, or coming into surrender, coming into this place of integration and peace. And then from there, I would say we have access to discernment, where we're able to discern reality a lot differently. So another analogy that I use in Kaichido is we call it the ball. Like if you had a rubber ball and you're holding that ball like underwater, the ball represents our being, like who we are as beings. The pressure of holding it underwater is our belief system, all the things that we believe to be true about ourselves and the world. So we're holding that ball underwater. So in that state, we really don't have access to being able to experience or see the bigger picture, because we're trying to control the outcome by holding, things down and saying it's this way, it's that way. They're that way. The Republicans are this way. The Democrats are this way. They're the black people, the white people, the Chinese people, all these beliefs that we have actually is keeping that ball underwater. Because all these are just, their assumptions, their views, and the ego will say, no, it's right. I have evidence. I have, look at their track record. Look at what they've done. They've done this, they've done that. But the truth is, this is stuff, these are just conclusions. These are things that we continue to conclude, keeping that ball underwater, preventing us from being able to experience what would happen if we let go. So as you let go of what you think you know, then that ball rises to the surface. It starts to rise to the surface as you let go of opinions and judgments and, views. Like the Buddhists say, all views are wrong views. All views are wrong views. So as we let go of all the opinions and judgments and views, the ball rises to the surface. When the ball rises to the surface, that's awareness. We have access to awareness. And if we don't push it back down, we have access to understanding. Things start to come together and make sense to us. We have access to understanding. And in that state of understanding, that state of consciousness, we're able to make we have access to compassion because we can make decisions in that state of awareness and understanding that not only supports us, but supports everyone. So that's really compassion. So if we're taking action from a place of inspiration and truth, that action not only supports us individually, but it also supports everybody. So my prayer is that may all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings find liberation from suffering. May all beings have the opportunity in each moment to experience the sanctity and the beauty that's inherent in each now. May all beings be free. So in that, in my prayer, it's that state of awareness, the state of understanding, the state of compassion. And if we continue on this, expansion and elevation, then we have access to love. And for me, that's my wife and I. We call it magic time. Magic time really is where you have access to love. Love is that place where it's just so beautiful. There's no resistance. Everything is working. Everything is perfect in this eternal now. Things are moving and aligning in perfect unity and harmony. So this is what I call magic time. Magic time is when the ego has let go of control and surrendered to the divine, or surrendered to God or source or essence. And then the authentic self, or the true self, is able to emerge, from that feeling of being abandoned and separated and lost and alone. So um, it is a process, but I think that the first level of it is to begin the process of letting go of what you think you know, letting go of control, letting go of being trying to have it be this way or that way versus the willingness to discover how it really is. So I think that this analogy has been a really I think helpful analogy for me in terms of being able to work with people and be able to explore some of the dynamics or some of the issues that usually causes physical as well as emotional pain, because the mind and the body work together. So if we have certain thoughts or certain ways of looking at life, it also shows up in our physical form. Our bodies start to respond to certain types of thought affects us in many different ways. I think a lot of what we see as we call physical malady is the result of certain patterns of thought that manifest as illness, or and subsequently we go through pain, or that the Buddhists say we're living in this world of illusion, and we're trying to find satisfaction in this great emptiness, and that's why we're in dukkha, or that's why we suffer. Is we're suffering because we're not able to really find any true satisfaction in this outer world. So I'd like to maybe stop there if there's any questions, or we'd like to explore just a little bit before I go on maybe to a couple more concepts and premises that I use in the process of healing, as well as some of the meditations and Kaichi-Do. I'd like to maybe even share a little video with you about Kaichi-Do, talk to you a little bit about the sacred sanctuary meditation that I do, maybe also give you the opportunity to experience a little sanctuary as a way of closing out today. So are there any questions so far?
Matthew has one in the chat.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Chat. All right. Okay, what?
You may have to
I can
unshare.
just ask it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, just ask
Yeah,
it.
I'll just ask it.
yeah.
What does Kai Chi Do translate to in English?
The word Kai means free and open. The word Chi, of course, is like life energy. It's in Chinese versus Japanese. It's more of Chi or Ki or life force or life energy, and Do is way. So it's the way of the free spirit or the free spirit way. So the initial during the meditation back in the early 70s when I used to do a lot of astral travel and a lot of transcendent type work, or it was more out of my body than in my body sometimes. So during one of the experiences, I had met with we call him Saifu, or the teacher, and we asked, what is this form that we're learning and that's developing, that's coming about? And the word that he gave us was Kai. And I was studying Chinese at the time. I was studying Mandarin, so I looked it up, and basically the word Kai, uh, in context, meant free and open.
Mhm.
And the next inspiration was Chi, which is life energy or life force. And then we came up with the idea of Do. So it's like another way. So it's the way of the free spirit, or it's also the way to free. It's a way to free the Chi, or to free that life energy, that actually gets bound up. I think in essence, due to the fact that we're trying to find satisfaction in this world of emptiness, that we're talking about. So it's returning back to source, or returning back to life energy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. Any other questions? Yeah, so it challenges a lot of this challenges our minds. Our minds are so used to doing stuff, and the problem is, the mind is really a beautiful gift and mechanism. Beautiful gift and mechanism.
May I
But
interrupt?
go ahead.
Well, Doris got on a little bit late. I know you knew Doris, Eric's
Oh
father and
yeah.
everything.
Oh
And I
yeah.
like your
Uh,
analogy, but could you just explain about the horse again and carriage again for
yes,
Doris?
I will. Yeah, Doris. Yes. Loved her father, and loved Eric, and the family. So Sue and I actually used to go over to the gardens and kind of sit and hang out there for hours, and just really enjoy the beauty that was there. So in sacred lands. Doris, what I gave the example of was the horses. This is the carriage. And the carriage, which I call, the classically I call it the chariot, and the horses represent the emotions, and the coachman is the ego. The whip is the whip of desire. As you can see here, that the horses have blinders on, like the emotions are blind, and they're just being controlled and agitated, and a lot of times by the ego, or that part of us that's trying to control the outcome, or that's just basing reality, or how to respond to what it's perceiving as reality from the standpoint of control. And it's using I think that the predicament that it's in, because it really doesn't know, in truth, I think the deeper secret of the ego is that it doesn't know where it's going, and it's trying to figure it out as it goes. But most of the time, because it's really blind, because it's just basing everything on knowledge versus wisdom. Knowledge is finite, which is based on just conclusions that we've come up with about the way life was. The truth being that everything is constantly in flux, everything is constantly changing. So the ego has information or is using information that has already passed already. So inside the carriage is the Holy Spirit and God, or the authentic self and source. So I think from a spiritual Christian standpoint, when the ego is willing to come down off its high horse and ask, or to pray and ask to enter inside the carriage, this is where we have, the Trinity, like all three of those dimensions come together, the power of three. And in those three dimensions, there is the pathway to liberation, the pathway to freedom. So I've been using this as an analogy to show the predicament or the dilemma that we're in. Also, you notice all the white space here, which represents emptiness, and and the ego trying to find its way, and through emptiness. And that's why I think, for example, we continue to end up, feeling really frustrated and confused, is because there's a lack of satisfaction in trying to find things in the outer world. So I just wanted to, that's the analogy that's been using. Okay.
Thanks, Charles. Thank you.
Good. Good to hear your voice again.
Thank you. Good to see you and hear you too.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Alrighty. So this is a little bit about Kai-Chi-Do. Kai-Chi-Do, again, was started back in the 1970s. It was inspired, really, I think, great work that has happened over the years. A lot of people have had really powerful experiences with Kai-Chi-Do. I think we actually did a little Kai-Chi-Do at Sacred Lands. And we have instructors all over the country right now, over the years. Let's see, Kai-Chi-Do. This is a video that was done by one of the students. All right, I'm going to do a screen share.
Kai-Chi-Do combines movement, music, and breathwork to allow life energy to flow freely in your mind and body and to spark spiritual awakening. Developed by Charles Robinson in the early 1970s, Kai-Chi-Do evolved from his study of meditation and the ancient wisdom of the martial arts to facilitate connection to the inner teacher in us all, the free and open spirit, the spark of life in all living beings.
And so we had this inspiration that, everything needs to start with the root, or what's called the base energy, what's called yan.
We start the process with yan, the root. This gives us the connection to Mother Earth and the root chakra of the body. We ground ourselves by going through the depths, a series of movements that releases blocked energy pathways. Then we move vertically with the life energy up through us.
Inhale. All those intentions, all those beautiful intentions, inhale. And then big exhale. All those beautiful intentions.
Kanji, the air element, is the connection of the inner and outer worlds. Once we have this connection, the life energy begins to flow from the root through us, aligning body, mind, and spirit.
The kanji actually is the life energy beginning to flow. It goes.
Kwa, the fire element. This is the high point, the purification point, where whatever it is that we are holding on to releases, and we let go of fear, worry, and resistance.
At that point. And then once it's purified through the fire, what we call hua, then we start to come down into the water. So,
from this high point, we start to balance and return to sway, the water element. After releasing resistance, we relax and let the life energy flow. The spirit of water is horizontal. It facilitates connection with other people and the world around us.
Get the best of me, even though you broke my heart.
Finally, we move into Da-Di, the earth element, the integration of heaven and earth, the spiritual and the physical. We come into balance. We complete the cycle of the elements and bring the energy back into our everyday lives.
That we receive. So we bring that back into Da-Di, which is called the earth element. So we bring that back into the earth and we continue to share it with everyone.
Tai Chi Do will help you release negativity, calm your mind, and energize your body. Tai Chi Do is meditation and movement, a spiritual resource to heal and strengthen your soul.
So it's a little video of the Kai Chi Do. We have instructors like in New York, New Jersey, California, Alaska, what is it, Pennsylvania, yeah. So yeah, there's, we actually have some people out in Hawaii now. We moved over to Hawaii. So we've been hosting a lot of our Kai Chi Do via Zoom. So I do a Zoom session every Sunday that's done virtually. So we just kind of get together in this format. I do a presentation usually in the morning and then bring it up on YouTube and then share it with people. And so everyone is able to be a part of the Zoom session and also experience the connection of Kai Chi Do, or the experience of the movement of Qi or life energy. The movements I've discovered over the years has been really liberating. It's crossing over movements. We've done it in nursing homes. We've done it with people in all kinds of physical conditions or physical health. So, I mean, you don't have to be like an athlete, or, to do Kai Chi Do. Anyone can do Kai Chi Do. Basically it's those circular movements, crossing over your midline, is very important. It supports midline integration, which is communication between the right and left sides of the brain. So people with neurological problems, people with, stress reaction, like from stress or from, long-term, anxiety and, just feeling the pressures of life. These movements begin to open up that resistance and starts to increase that communication in the neural pathways. So it begins to open up channels in the neural pathways so that, people are actually feel more like energized and revitalized. So it can be done standing, it can be done sitting down. We've had a lot of people, doing Kai Chi Do sitting down, where you're just sitting and doing the movements, doing the crossovers, doing the breath, being a part of the process, going through what we call the depths, where you're making various connections physically, energetically throughout the body. We also, some people may know of Jinshin Jitsu, may have heard of the practice of Jinshin Jitsu. So some of the early movements was inspired, through some of the work of Jero Marai and Jinshin Jitsu. So our early stages, or what we call the depths, a good friend of ours, Phyllis Singer, before she passed away, she had helped us translate some of the inspirations that I had been receiving in terms of the connecting points and what the connecting points actually meant. So that became part of our training program for our instructors, to understand how to make the various energy connections throughout the body. The first stage of it is what's called the depths. This is where you're going through various connections. I'll show you, this is a little video on what's called the depths. The depths is connecting with the five elements. and moving that energy through each of those dimensions. This video was actually shot. This video was shot up in at Felipe Park, and it was done by one of our students. And this is how the process actually starts. Coming deep into your core. Take a deep breath in, pulling deep on the inhale, and relaxing and letting go on the exhale. Coming into center, in prayer hands, with your feet together, pushing out just about palm to palm, bringing that energy deep into your center as you come back into your core, into prayer hands. So if you guys want to practice, you can. You can practice. On the inhale and relaxing. Sitting down, you can just practice the movements. Pushing up, this is the phoenix rising. And then big ah breath. Inhale as the phoenix rises up. And then exhale as you come down. Energy rising. Energy falling. Energy rising. And energy falling. Energy rising up from the center and then coming down on the exhale. Feet apart, reaching across with your right hand and hold your left shoulder, and then take the other hand and wrap it around your body. This particular flow releases all attachment to the past, letting go of attachment to the what was as you breathe deep on the inhale and then relax and release on the exhale. Breath going in deep on the inhale and then just let go. Let go of control. Let go of resistance. As you pull deep on the inhale, relax and let go on the exhale. Continuing to hold your left shoulder with your right hand, take the opposite hand and place it on your cheekbone on the same side that you're holding. This brings everything back into a state of balance, a state of peace, and a state of integration. So pull deep on the inhale and then relax and release on the exhale. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. Breath going in deep on the inhale and then relax and let go on the exhale. Now with your left hand, place your left hand on your right shoulder. This brings everything back into a state of harmony, a state of balance, and a state of peace as you hold both shoulders, pulling deep on the inhale and relaxing and letting go on the exhale. Breath going in and breath going out. Holding both shoulders as we drop down into the now, down into the present moment. Now continuing to hold your right shoulder with your left hand. Drop your other hand down and wrap it around your body. This particular flow releases all attachment to the future, letting go of attachment to trying to control the outcome or the what will be. Pull deep on your inhale and relax and release on your exhale. Breath going in and breath going out. Pulling deep on the inhale, in through the mouth, and then out through the mouth. Breath going in, and breath going out. Big breaths going in and coming out. Continuing to hold your right shoulder with your left hand. Bring the other hand down as you continue to hold the shoulder and make contact on your cheekbone on the same side that you're holding. This brings everything back into a state of harmony, a state of balance, and a state of peace. Pull deep on your inhale, and then relax and release on your exhale, releasing all control, releasing all resistance, releasing all struggle. Now with your left hand, place it on your heart, and with your right hand, right between your eyebrows. This is where the mind and the heart work together. The mind supporting the heart, and the heart supporting the mind. Take a deep breath in, pulling deep on the inhale, and then big ah. Inhale deeply, and then big exhale. Ah. Inhale deeply, and then big exhale. Continuing to stay connected to your heart with your left hand, take your right hand and place it just above your navel, into the third chakra. So take a deep breath in as we unify the energy of the heart with the energy of the third chakra, where you bring your power into your heart and your heart into your power. Take a deep breath in and then big sa breath. Sa. Inhale. 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 Sa. Now reaching out with your palms open to the sky. Your legs are slightly bent. Reaching out to each other and to all beings. And then bringing your fingertips together as we hug the tree. And then bring that energy back up into your center, into your core, into prayer hands. Reaching up with open palms, and then coming back into core. Let's get ready to move. So that's the opening. That's how Kai Chi Do opens, and then we start really getting into the process. So, the process, Good. Okay. I think one of the things that's important is, like as Dave was sharing with you, is form. When your form is good, then you can just relax into the process and just enjoy the process. Important to listen to your body throughout the process. For our new participants, I want to welcome you aboard. Kai Chi Do works with the 5 elements. So we're beginning by making a connection with what we call the root, or the base energy, which we visualize at the base of our spine. And then we're going to start to move that energy up through the body. So we're going to start at the root, and then we're going to be pulling that energy up through the body. This is when we move into what we call the second level, or the second chakra, start to move that energy up. So the energy is coming up through the body and out. So we're pulling the energy up, straight up, and then out into the world. So we're going deep into our core, and then we're going wide. We're sending the energy out into the world. So we're going down and then pushing up. This is the sa breath. So I'm going down, and then energy. Inhale. Breathe deep. Let's make that connection with the energy. Beautiful. Inhale. Inhale. Just scoop it up. Inhale, just scoop it up. Beautiful energy. Inhale deeply. Inhale, scoop it up. Inhale. Let's push it out and share it with each other. Inhale deeply. And then ah. Okay, palms turned up, open towards the sky. Just open your chest up. That's it. That's it. Now turn the hands back, facing back. There you go. Now coming up and into your core. This is coming into center. This is the phoenix rising coming up.
Inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. Inhale on the way up. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. Let the exhale be a sigh of relief, or what we call a letting go breath. Exhale. Ah, beautiful. Inhale. Big ah breath. Energy rising. Energy falling. Feel that energy rising up. And then big ah breath. Feel the energy rising up again. There you go. And then big exhale. Okay, relaxing into your center, into your core. Just feel that energy resonating in your center. Everyone take a deep breath and inhale. And then big exhale. Breath going deep on the inhale. And then exhale. These are what we call crossovers. So the legs are slightly bent. You're coming down and then you're pushing out. So it's sa, sa, inhale, sa, crossover, sa, sa, inhale, sa, inhale, sa, let's rock, sa, inhale, sa, beautiful, sa, crossover, sa, inhale, sa, inhale, sa, inhale, sa, breathe deep, sa, pull the breath deep inside, inhale, exhale, sa, beautiful, sa, inhale, sa, exhale, sa, beautiful, sa, sa, inhale, sa, exhale, sa, energy rising, sa.
So the energy starts to move through the body, as you can see. The first level is to check in through the depths. Then we start to move that life energy or that chi through the system, which is a very powerful expression of life energy moving throughout our system. Then again, it becomes a lot more energetic. Where this is an example of it being.
Okay, guys, feet apart, toe to toe. Let's start to get that energy moving through the body with a little crossover. That energy starting to rise. Here we go. Over here. It's moving, guys. Inhale. On the beat. Let's hear those sounds. Energy's starting to rise up. Inhale.
So guys, little experience of Kai Chi Dao, the Kai experience. Second. Alrighty. So, Kai Chi Dao, I think, really allows us to experience that beautiful movement of Qi or life energy that moves through the body. Again, the full sessions are very energetic, and it can be, the sessions are really geared towards like whatever the group is, again, and we have people doing it in all kinds of physical conditions or physical health conditions. We have some people here, I think, that have done Kai Chi Do and have experienced the process. So yeah, so really powerful process that we have for folks to just really let go of a lot of tension that builds up in the body. Remember, we've said we've had people sitting down or standing, so it can be done depending on whatever your physical needs are to kind of help you. And one of the things that we noticed is that by people starting to do it, even with physical limitations, they've increased their levels of flexibility. One woman was really constricted and could just do little movements. And after doing a couple sessions, the family noticed that she was able to go, she just reached and got a glass of water and drank the water, which was like really like a major event for her, was reaching and getting a glass of water. So, you know, we were like celebrating, but just by her loosening up and beginning to release some of that restriction, you know, she was able to, you know, in essence, you know, begin to increase circulation throughout the body. The Chinese believe, for example, that man has one basic issue, and that issue is congestion. And the cure is to increase circulation. So this movement, this process of Kai Chi Do, really in essence is about increasing the flow of life, or the flow of Qi throughout the body, or increasing circulation throughout the body. So the more that we increase circulation, when we stop moving, when you stop moving, everything starts to atrophy. So movement is so important, so vital to life. When you stop moving and you start slowing down, everything, gravity takes over and begins to pull everything inward. You can see it in people's bodies where they start to hunch over, they start to come inward because they're allowing gravity, you know, they're allowing just this kind of almost like inertia that takes place when we stop keeping the body fluid. So movements are very important. And just, even if you're able to just sit and do circular movements, for one thing, as I said earlier, it increases what's called midline integration, communication between the right and left sides of the brain. And we can retrain, you know, our brains. You know, we can, you know, what's called neuroplasticity, where there is like, you know, there is a malleability to our neural net that you can, through exercise and movement and changing the way in which we think about things, you can begin to rewire, you know, the neural pathways. So know that this is a process that anyone can do. It can be done by just about anyone who, whether you're sitting or standing. Even people that aren't able to move can do Kai Chi Do. Because even thinking about the movements and the way that we're doing them actually supports increase of energy and circulation. I've had people that have been completely immobilized and doing Tai Chi Do just by thinking about these types of movements, because it's like you're increasing that communication between both hemispheres of the brain. So, you know, it's a process that I believe was a gift, and we've seen some amazing healings over the years, amazing experiences with people resolving histories of trauma. I had one woman actually say, I've done more in this one session than I've done in, you know, 15 years of therapy. You know, that she felt that she had you know, did a lot more. She was able to release a lot more and find resolution to a lot more than she had done in years of therapy. You know, so, and I've used Kai Chi Do as a part of the clinical programs that I've ran over the years. You know, as I've ran, you know, as a clinical director and clinical administrator in a lot of different dual diagnosis settings. Right now I'm working as a clinical educator for a program in Tampa, you know, working with people with dual diagnosis issues, addiction and depression and anxiety, and, you know, various, you know, addiction related as well as mental health related type issues. So that's been a lot of my work over the years. And, you know, Doris knows a lot about the work that we did at the Manors years ago, right, Doris?
We have a couple of questions, and I also want to welcome Kim Cintio. I know you know Kim. So,
Yes, yes. Good.
Lena
Good
has
work.
a question, and
Yes.
Matthew.
Good, good. Thank you. We can just unmute and talk a little bit. And who wants to start?
I guess I will. Are the cross-handed positions and the different hand positions, are those designed to focus your intent of what you want to feel or happen, or are there some type of energetic connection, like in mudras or acupuncture, where you're trying to align certain electrical charges within the body?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of the idea of the mudra is kind of a way of thinking about it. It's really the movements. You know, basically, there's the intention is just to be free. You know, so it's like a synergistic process that takes place that is really not you know, like trying to achieve this or trying to achieve that. It's more about just doing the experience. And what happens is that you find, what I've seen people say is, I get to a point where I just let go of control. And like we had shared earlier, like with the chariot, you know, you get to a place where you let go of control, and then you experience this cascading or this flowing of life energy or chi that begins to elevate the mind and the overall state of consciousness. So but the movements in themselves, these are like what we call chi circles. So it's like going around and making this, and there's like a chi circle facing the earth, you know, the chi circle facing the sky, you know, the crossovers, you know, the various movements. So, and you're activating life flow, or you're activating life energy with each breath, with each movement. The music becomes an environment to just get lost in. And when you get lost in the movement with the music and with the breath, then there's this point of elevation, you know, where you just kind of lose yourself, you know, in the experience. You know, you're not really holding on to anything at that point. And at that point, that's really, I think, where people come into the community. They come in this true sense of unity and community with each other and with all beings. You know, it's like pretty astounding experiences that people have had when they unify at this level.
Very well, thank you.
Good, appreciate it. Thank you. Who else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you always vocalize on every out breath, and do the vocalizations change as you move through your program?
There's two breaths that we use. One breath is the sa breath, is the breath of fire. Sa is very activating. It's like the activating or the stimulating of life energy. So the sa breath is the one breath. And then there's the ah breath. The ah breath is releasing. So it's, you know, a lot of times we're using sa, and then by the time we get down to water, where we've come out of the fire and we're going into the water, that's usually where we're starting to use more of the ah breaths. So the sa breaths can be seen as the spirit of fire. The ah breaths can be seen as the spirit of water. It's just like the cross. When you look at the cross, you know, the vertical is like the spirit of fire. The horizontal is the spirit of water. So the life is always balancing fire and water. Mm-hmm. So our work, you know, in essence, is to balance fire and water. You know, that beautiful balance that takes place. Too much fire throws things out of balance. Too much water throws things out of balance.
I have a question. Oh. I have a question. This is Beatrice. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, very well.
Yes, and I participated. I followed all the exercises. I really enjoy it. I'm a yoga teacher, apart from being a counselor, and work in the same field that you do for many years.
Right.
So what it caught my attention is that the breath is through the mouth and not the nose, not through the nostrils. Is there any particular reason that you have chosen that type of breath?
Yeah, there's different forms of, early on I studied a lot of work of Prahasma Yogananda, and there's various forms of kriyas, you know, like in terms of kriya yoga. And this particular kriya, you know, of in through the mouth, out through the mouth, I found was very, it kind of increased the process of helping people to let go. It also gave people more oxygen, more energy to actually integrate the process safely. So the breathing in through the mouth and out through the mouth versus the nose, it actually is more dynamic, and it helps people to get out of just their rational, logical minds a little bit. I find that it kind of brings you full circle, you know, pulling that breath in and then releasing it, pulling it in and releasing it. Because of the aerobic nature of the breath, of the process, it actually gives you the energy that you need to be able to keep elevating in that process. Because it gets into hua, or what's called fire. At that point, you really need a lot more breath in order to be able to get through the fire. And then we start to integrate it, bring it down. Yes.
No, I have another question because, I don't know if you're familiar with rebirthing, the rebirthing movement. They use, yeah. So they use this, the
Yes.
cardiac breath, through the mouth to, enhance, the contact with emotions and
Yeah,
bringing home
exactly.
memories. Yeah. But it reminded me a little bit, but the fact that you were integrating movement made it so different at the same time, so cathartic. And the music and the natural elements, it was really fascinating.
Yeah, that's right. In rebirthing too, which I've done rebirthing for a lot of years. I've even done some stuff with Leonard back in the day. So with Sandra Ray and all those folks back during that time period. Little bit with Leonard Orr. Yeah, it is that circular breath. Like you said, it produces a catharsis. As a result of that, it's very liberating, elevating. That's why some people during the process will start crying hysterically. Just like releasing stuff that's been built up for years. Stuff that's been stored, I think, in the psyche, as well as been stored, in the cells of the body. I've done connective tissue therapy for a lot of years too, early on in the process. And, like in that myofascial release, you have all these emotions that are stored as well. So it's a way of releasing a lot of, stored memory and, liberating parts of life where we've gotten stuck, because of various experiences that we've gone through. So it can be very liberating in that respect.
And then the integration of both hemispheres, I found it very interesting too, because it's like the crisscross of the energy of both sides of the body and the brain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Very integrative. Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Be blessed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Questions?
I took Shorin-ryu in college, and as I recall, we did breathe through our mouths and out through our mouths, and we really needed that. And when I walk or run, it's actually very hard for me to keep focusing on breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth, and it's not natural to me.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that you added that you were, you did that.
So I'd like to comment on that too, with the question. And the question is, how would you compare the practice to just basic Qigong? And when I did 4 years of Qigong recently, we did the Kundalini breathing, which is nose in, nose out, nose in, nose out, which I found really, and it was all standing, it was very soft, which I felt you were doing with the Phoenix Rising and so forth. And I really found that grounded me with that type of Kundalini breathing.
Right.
But would you comment some about Qigong in its basic form, because there are so many varieties of Qigong.
I think that in terms of the Kundalini, which is, we consider to be first chakra at the base of the spine, so that snake that's kind of coiled up at the base of the spine. So symbolically representing that energy that's there. So the snake, when it unravels and kind of goes up the spine, that's really where you get that, right? You get that feeling of elevation. So Tai Chi Do does that also, where it activates it. First, we believe in plugging in, and that's when you go through the depths, the various movements to plug in, because we think it's important to plug in. And then when we start elevating or tapping into the root, which would be the first chakra, tapping into that root, also, and the animal form that's relative to in our practice, that's relative is the cobra. So the cobra is at the base of the spine. That's the animal spirit or form that's connected at the base. So we initially tap into that energy of the cobra, of that base energy, and then we start to release it. and we're releasing it gradually. We're building it up and releasing it until it starts to rise up. And then that's when we go into air, or what we call kanji. And then we take it to a high point. The air, we consider the animal is the eagle. The eagle kind of takes us up into the air. And then we take it to that high point into the fire, which is hua, which is, the tiger. The tiger is a part of hua. And then we start coming down into the water, which is sway. In the water, that's, the crane, the crane, so we do the crane. The crane kind of brings us back down into the water energetically. And then we eventually ground ourselves back into Dadi, or we come back into the earth element, which is Dadi, and the animal that's connected to Dadi is the leopard. So we have, the leopard, is the animal spirit that brings us back into the earth element. So yeah, the Kundalini is activated, but we contain it in a process so that, what we discovered was that it's important for people to go through all 5 elements, because some people just kind of went up into the fire and then didn't proper integrate into the water and back into the earth. And we had people actually getting sick because they were not integrating the energy properly. I had to really, had a good talk with one of my instructors, because in the early stages, she was just kind of getting people into that really high energy and wasn't properly integrating them and bringing them back down. And people were having problems. People have actually passed out when they try to come back into the water too quickly. So it's important to kind of go through it gradually and then be brought down. The playlist, the music, everything is designed to go through this wave. So all the music, everything is designed to take people through a process of gradual elevation to like a really high point, and then coming down into the water or coming down into integration. So, the process is designed to take people on like a wave. But elevation is important, also integration is important, in terms of integrating the life energy or the qi. The qigong or the san qi, this life energy, that we're moving through, constantly. So.
Yeah, well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Could I ask a question about something you said?
Yes.
That you said, many people, were passing out, but that could be as the result of hyperventilation,
right?
That's produced by the mouth breath. That
yes.
Cardiac breath can produce that, and people pass out. So how do you help people not to fall into that hyperventilation state?
Yeah, early on. This was early on in the process, and since then, what we've done is that we've done more of a gradual decline. So that's why, the coming down is not just kind of going down into water, where you're like going into like more of almost like a meditative state. The songs, the music, the movements, everything is a gradual coming down, a very gradual decrease. And the breath is starting to relax, everything is starting to relax. Even we're still not just stopping the breath or that high energy activating breath. We're not just stopping it, we're slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down until everyone starts to balance or come back into balance. And then we can safely go into the water and then eventually return back to the earth. So, we call it, actually, in Kaichido, we develop these musical tracks or an awareness of how to use the music so that people don't just come down into like a very quick decline, that they still are able to keep the energy up long enough to integrate and then come down, into the water. I think early on, this probably happened about 2 or 3 times. And then again, we got it, that we needed to do a much more gradual transition. So that became a really very key point to the training, to do these gradual transitions into the water element. So, So that took care of that, actually.
Thank you.
Yes. You have to unmute, Judith. There you go.
Well, I was wondering if you had a DVD to sell that, would help us do it.
Yeah, so every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, people can join us. It's called Kaichido Live Broadcast. So, and if you go on YouTube, I've recorded a lot of sessions, like full hour-long sessions that I lead you through.
Okay.
And so on Sundays, they're live, like we meet in this format, like we have in Zoom, and I do a screen share and people participate, in the process. So it's on Facebook, it's called the Kaichido Live Broadcast. If you ask to be a member of that, then you can join and be a member of that. But again, you can just go to YouTube and look up Kaichido, join the Kaichido channel, and then in that you'll be able to see some hour-long processes that I've done that'll lead you through a complete session.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I think everything is digital these days, so we've kind of moved out of the, so it's all like, streaming. So everything is streaming. So you can just go right to YouTube and stream it. You can put it on your big screen TV, like most smart TVs have YouTube built in. So you can actually just put it on your big screen and actually watch, it from the big screen on TV. Any other questions about Kai?
Beatrice, do you still have a question?
Oh, well, I always have questions, so I want to stop because I'm a very questioning person. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Yeah, but I have 100 questions, but I won't invade you with my active brain. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I have one question. If we go to YouTube and even though they are recorded sessions where people were processing already together with you, can we follow the session and do our own personal process?
Yeah, I take you through the process. I take you through the process just like I'm leading a class.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's just like, you're watching, I take you through
like a guide.
I'm guiding you through the 5 elements. So
yeah, okay.
For about an hour, and so you get to experience that, for an hour. And
if we don't have water, we can use a bathtub, for example.
What was that?
Can we use a bathtub as opposed to water if we don't have? No, we have water close, but nowadays with the pandemic, it's all so restricted.
Yeah, so that's what we're just doing everything. We're doing it dry, and dry. This is like a dry process, but yeah, it doesn't have to be done in water. We've done a lot of stuff on land, so a lot of it is on land. These were just some early experiences where we were like in the water. It was just like really integrating to be a part of the water. So yeah, we've done it out in the desert. We've been at Bhakti Fest and various festivals, and doing it on the land. So.
And it works the same. So the elements are not necessarily, they don't necessarily need to be present in the process for the process itself to take place.
Oh, absolutely not. Well, the thing is, we've done it in hotel rooms. We've done it in like conference rooms and, places like that. And the elements, they're present wherever you are, no matter where you are.
Yeah, we are all the elements ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so, yeah. So
something is clicking, and I'm not sure. Everybody's muted, so I'm not, except me right now, and Charles. So I'm not sure what that is. But sorry.
I do have one question.
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you very much for a very interesting past hour and a half. It's just fabulous. You're talking about your YouTube and you do it live. If a person can't be at noon, can you watch the Sunday recording, each
Yes,
Sunday recording later in the day or later
absolutely.
that week?
Absolutely.
Okay,
They're all
I just wanted
record.
to make
Yeah,
sure.
they're all recorded. So,
Great.
you know, if you're not able to be like kind of a part of the Zoom session like now, you can go back and maybe later in the afternoon or during the week watch it. So, yeah, it'll be
Very good.
available. It'll be available for you
Thank you.
on YouTube. I've started to number them, so I think we're at 0007. So this will be 0008. You know, so we're starting to number them so that, you know, people can see, okay, I did 7, but I didn't do 8, you know, that type of thing. So
I have a question.
yes.
At the beginning, you were talking about letting go of the ego
Hmm.
and the freeing up. That always interests me in terms of how people do that and
Yeah.
what their experience is, because I really think we can learn from each other. What it feel okay, I'm thinking now. What it feels like to be going with the soul, you know, for you.
Yeah, for me, it's just it's it's, I call it dancing in the moment. So it's more of like, you know, I'm never prepared actually. So you know, I'm always surprised. And
Okay.
it's just always interesting because each moment is different. It's like not like I've scripted all this out and planned it out, and I've been living that way for years. So it's in terms of time as we quantify it. But yeah, it's just really being in the delight of discovery in each moment. It's like, wow, okay, there's this, you know, and it is and it isn't, you know. So you get to just experience the constant unfolding of life in each moment.
Nice.
Yeah, just without like trying to control it or, you know, struggle with it or whatever. You know, it's just really experiencing it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Blessings. Anybody else? Yeah. All righty. I thought we wanted to end our process maybe with what time we have until, Patricia?
About 3:55, but don't let that inhibit you in any way.
So we'll, you want to end like at like 10 of 4, or what time do you normally end your set?
5 till 4 would work.
5 to 4 is
If we
fine?
go over, that's fine. I don't want to like, you
Okay,
know,
okay,
just, I've got like 3 minutes of closing, that's all.
okay, all right, so 5 up, okay. All right, so wanted to do a meditation, a little guided meditation. Also, if you go to on YouTube to the Sacred Sanctuary meditation site, you'll also see a lot of guided meditations I've done. Also, during quarantine, I've been making like little videos, so it's been kind of like my quarantine time has been making these videos. So you'll see a lot of little videos. One of the musicians I work with, his name is Nicholas Hartman, and he's made some of the songs that I use as a part of the background. I've created some of the music and kind of put together the visuals and everything that you'll see. So today, it's called the Long Journey Home, and I'll be doing some guiding. What I'd like to do is to do a sound check, just to make sure that everything is integrating properly, and if the sound is good mixed with the music. So again, welcome aboard, and enjoy your journey. We'll do a little meditation. You can either do it sitting or lying down, whatever feels comfortable to you. It's really just getting yourself into a place to begin to listen to some of the messages or guidance from I call it the teacher, the part of us that's guiding us and supporting us in each moment. So we'll start with a little sound check. Okay. Just a little history behind the sacred sanctuary, that it came about through the realization that there's so many dimensions to who we are. So the sacred sanctuary meditation really is an inspiration that there's a part of us that is very still and very quiet. And a part of our healing is to be able to drop into stillness, or into this very quiet place. Very important also is to stay in your breath through the process, so conscious breathing. And for this process, you can either breathe through your mouth or your nose, whatever feels comfortable to you in terms of the breath that you feel most comfortable with would be fine. Just switch accounts. And this one is the long journey home. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share. Okay, so doing a nice screen share here. Can everyone hear me okay? And is it blended okay with the music?
Yes.
It is? Okay. Okay, so for the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to do a little process. So I'd like to encourage everyone to take a deep breath in, pulling deep on the inhale, and relaxing and releasing on the exhale. Letting go of control, letting go of resistance, and letting go of fear. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, I take in the essence of who I am. Breathing out, I release all resistance and I release all struggle. So take your time on this journey of 1,000 steps. The teacher reminds us in this moment, in this now, that I am with you. And I've always been with you in each moment. My heart is your heart. My mind is your mind. For we are one mind and one heart, existing perfectly in each now. Breathing in, I allow myself in this moment to drop deeper and deeper into stillness, into a place of peace, a place of liberation and freedom. So just allow yourself in this moment to first begin by relaxing your shoulders, letting go of control, letting go of resistance, and letting go of fear. Feel the essence of who you are, the foundation of your being, beginning to come alive again. Allow this perfect nature, this perfect self, to begin to awaken into this now, coming back into essence, coming back into truth. Feel the presence of this divine messenger, this prophet of peace, this minister of truth, that's walking with you freely and easily in each moment. For I am with you in each now, says the teacher. My heart is your heart. We are one mind. We are one heart. We are one eternal state of being. So let's open the gateway. Let's open that first gateway at the base of the spine. Open it gently, says the teacher. Just a little bit. As you allow this beautiful energy, this energy that's at the foundation of who we are, this source energy, we allow it to begin to come into our life. This chi, this qigong, this sun chi, just let it begin to move through you. Feel the essence of your spirit beginning to awaken in this perfect now, as the inner and the outer world become one. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into this now. Feel the radiance of this profound sense of unlimited potential. The bright and beautiful teacher. The wisdom keeper. That's with you in each moment. That's walking with you in each now. Breathing in, I take in the essence of who I am. Breathing out, I release all resistance. And I allow the elder spirits to begin to come into the space, the teachers. The teacher reminds us of all the beautiful spirits that we've experienced in our life and in our lifetimes. Feeling these beautiful spirits as they come smiling and teaching us. Like Pappy and Grandma and Grandpa. We see them all lining up and beginning to walk with us into this perfect time, for they're helping us get through this time of uncertainty, this time of fear of each other and of the air. This meditation, says the teacher, is dedicated to the purification of the breath, the purification of the air, that the air will change and begin to make the environment a safe place again, that every breath is a pure breath, every breath is a liberating breath. Let go of the darkness. Let go of all the struggle. Let go of all the fear, anticipation of the future, regrets about the past. Just allow yourself to come forth into this beautiful moment, this moment of peace, this moment of truth. You're so close, says the teacher, to that point of liberation. You're so close to that point of freedom, where the inner and the outer world become one. One pure example of unlimited possibility. Where we, as a collective consciousness, a unified being, a state of eternal grace and opportunity, reach out to each other through the light of the Spirit. Where we can open to this beautiful radiant light. The fragrance of the air, the movement of time, space, and dimension, the waters of life flowing through us freely and easily as we let go of control, as we let go of fear and worry. Just allow this energy to flow freely and easily through all aspects of yourself, through your mind, through your heart, and through your spirit. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into the now, into this perfect place of unlimited potential. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper, letting go of resistance, letting go of fear, so you may be able to freely experience the sanctity and the beauty that's inherent in each now. May you have the opportunity to experience the light of the Spirit, the awakening, the unification of mind and spirit. So breathing in and breathing out, we continue to let go, letting go of control, letting go of resistance, letting go of fear. Letting go of self-doubt and releasing as you drop deeper and deeper into stillness. Into this place where all beings find refuge from suffering. In this place where all beings find freedom and liberation. Breathing in, I take in my pure nature, the part of me that guides me and supports me in each moment. I allow the voice of the teacher to move freely and easily through me, the messenger of peace, the prophet of truth. I allow myself to be free, to go beyond each moment, and to embrace this sacred journey, this journey of 1,000 steps. Each step is an affirmation. Each step is a prayer. Each step is an intention. Each step is an expansion into the light of the present moment. Each step is a way of opening the gateways to truth and liberation. Each step embraces the purity of this now, of this bright light, of this bright spirit, where we're able to embrace each eternal moment. So take your time and focus your attention on that in-breath, the breath of freedom, the breath of liberation, where the vertical and the horizontal come together in perfect balance. The spirit of water, the spirit of fire, balancing each other in each eternal now. Allow this balancing of fire and water, the energy of light and life, of purpose and meaning. For I am with you in each now, says the teacher. Just become very quiet now as you listen to this inner nature, and you allow that heart to begin to flower, to begin to come back into harmony with the truth of who you are. Always coming back to your truth. Always coming back to the sacred sanctuary. We take the final steps in our journey of 1,000 steps, where we begin to imagine this beautiful crystal walkway. As you walk down this beautiful walkway, there's a very cool breeze that's all around you. So allow yourself to relax into this very cool breeze. Just ahead, there's a beautiful golden gateway. As we approach this beautiful golden gateway, there is a messenger. The messenger supports us in taking the next step. What is it that we need to let go of in order to enter into this perfect place? Once you let go and the gateway opens to the garden of possibility, to the garden of truth, the builders, the architects that are responsible for weaving together all of our intentions, all of our desires into the fabric of time, space, and dimension, into the fabric of eternity. So just allow yourself to reach out in perfect harmony and balance to these great teachers, these great messengers that have come forth in each moment. Take another step, says the teacher. Take another step and allow yourself to approach the sacred walkway, the beautiful crystal, the illumination of light and life that's moving through you right now and taking you along the final walkway to the sacred sanctuary, to the palace of peace, to the cathedral of truth. We're just a few breaths, just a few steps away. It's time to get off the high horse and totally surrender into this beautiful place, to let go of trying to control the outcome or trying to change the what was. It's time to totally let go of the reins and surrender into the perfection of this moment. Surrender into the perfection of this now. Just take another breath in as you enter into the sacred sanctuary, the palace of peace, the cathedral of truth. Once in this beautiful place, just reach out, sharing your gifts with all beings. May all beings be free. May all beings be happy. May all beings find liberation from suffering. May all beings be free. So everyone just take a deep breath in, pulling that breath deep into your center, into your core, and just feel the movement of life and life energy through the body, through all aspects of yourself, through all beings, realizing that we all breathe together as one, we all move together as one, and therefore the experience of this eternal now is a manifestation of that one pure expression of light and life. So again, take a deep breath in as we begin to come in and bring things into balance, into closure. Again, big breaths in into the core. Just take another breath in as we start to integrate and come back in. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today and being a part of the experience. A little orientation to Kai Chi Do, a little settling into and integrating the experience. So be forever loved and blessed. And thank you for the opportunity to share with you this afternoon.
Please join me, unmute yourselves and join me in thanking Charles. It was even more wonderful than I anticipated.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Be forever blessed, guys.
It was a fabulous meditation. Thank you.